So anyway, hey, Joby's not here yet. Jeffrey, do you have that highlight? Can we play that highlight one more time? I'm going to play that highlight one more time. Bulldogs won the game over Carlsbad. They were down 27-22 with 20 seconds left in the game. Carlsbad kicks off to Artesia, and this happens.
Things to learn for both teams.
Yep.
You know, here in the first game of the season, a lot of good stuff, and then several things they're going to work on. But we're still not over with yet. As is that Naylor or is that somebody else kicking off? Now it's number 28. So Naylor went, he went out a while ago with the Hunter Cadell is kicking. So a different kicker here. That might mean something different. They're going to kick it deep. If we come up and catch it, come up and get it, boys. And they're going to run the starburst. No, they're not. Oh, get down the sideline. There he goes. Get down the sideline. Go. Take it to the house. Take it to the house.
Oh, my God.
Touchdown.
That's
no
nice.
flags down.
Number 10, Matt Sice, he got that. He thought about going to Estrada, but Estrada just went up to block. So he took it down the right sideline, had blocking down there.
There's a flag down.
Oh, my gosh.
There's a flag down.
Wow.
I didn't see it. I didn't
It's all
see
the way
it.
down there where he was. There's one guy left down there on him.
I know. I don't know.
Wow.
Oh, it's on them? Yeah, somebody needs to make a call. I agree. Tell us what's going on.
Who's he talking to?
I don't know. I can't figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Touchdown,
Touchdown,
Artesia! Woo!
That's incredible. Who needed starburst? Just needs
Line. So Bulldogs pull out the victory. They go for two, get the two. They hold off Carlsbad from getting into the end zone. And so the final score, 30-27. Bulldogs are now 1-0 on the season. Carlsbad 0-1 under their new head coach. And great game. Carlsbad will head to Roswell Friday night to take on the Goddard Rockets. And Bulldogs will head over to Hobbs to take on the Eagles. And they, of course, were big winners over Clovis in their opening game on Friday night. Roswell High from our district, they won big over Lovington, team that we'll face later in the year. And the other team from our district, Mayfield, they played on Saturday and they shut out Monzano out of Albuquerque. So all four of our teams from our district were winners on Friday night. So where did that come from, Joby? That take it to the house? That you don't know where you got that?
I've probably heard it somewhere. I didn't coin it. Heard it on ESPN or somewhere.
Yeah. So what a game!
Yeah, it was a good game. It was, like we said, there's a lot of things that both teams will be working on. But that was the first game of the season. That's understandable. The Bulldogs had a lot of penalties.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if we had them doubled or tripled up. We had more penalties than they did by a bunch. But
Yeah.
so that's something I know that Coach Maupin and his staff will be really focused on is penalties. And then just your normal stuff, missed
Timing
assignments and
and
timing and things
yeah.
like that. But then on the other side of it, they played pretty good. I mean, they got the win, first time in 4 years. Carlsbad's had our number for the last 4 years. And so it's always fun to watch the Bulldogs play, and it's even better when they win.
That's right. Big crowd there. So.
Huge crowd. I don't. My guess is it isn't the biggest ever, but a few years ago against Carlsbad, I think was the biggest ever. They estimated over 10,000. There might have been 10,000 people there Friday night. I don't know. It was
That
full.
was probably Coach Henderson's, Rex Henderson's first year.
May have been.
And they played that game, first game of the season.
Yep.
And that's when I got in trouble for sharing the drone picture.
Oh yeah, yeah. That and I remember that very specifically. And it was full like that Friday night. Now I don't know if it was full if it was as full around the beams as around the berms as it was, but
Now, where's this from?
Someone from the city
said
Saturday night.
said 6,000.
6,000 home and 2,000.
With the berms done, it kind of
Well, there wouldn't have been people sitting on the berms before.
No.
sitting, but there weren't as much. They said that they hit capacity.
So is this total of 8,000? Okay.
So around 8,000 people
6,000
there.
sitting on the Artesia side, 2,000 sitting on the Carlsbad side, about 8,000 people.
Yeah.
And probably the threat of the weather may have held off some folks from coming.
A little
to the
bit,
game.
because it was 80% chance at 8 o'clock. I
That's
thought
right.
it was going to rain, and then it never did. Of course, it came later that night.
That it did.
We got flooded good.
Well, good. Well, let's talk some fishing. What would you like to talk about today? Standings?
Well, we can talk about standings here in just a minute, but that flooding we got last week, and then specifically Friday night and Saturday, I think, the area southeast New Mexico and up into the mountains really got rain. And last week I talked about the fact that David Rutherford, the tournament director, and I were discussing possibly moving our last 2 team tournaments, but because Brantley is really low and we didn't know how much lower it would get. But then with all that rain last week, and then I read, I think it was one of the local guys that does a lot of weather stuff, can't think of his name, but he put out a lot of information via the state and maybe the county as well about the what's happening right now with the Pecos River. It's full, it's running, and the crest, it's flood.
it's over flood stage.
It's flood stage. I couldn't think of the word I wanted to use. It's flood stage, and it's going to crest on Wednesday. It's over 13.5 feet flood stage, I think is what I read.
Okay.
And it is really going to run into Brantley. I drove down to Brantley this morning to look at it, just to see what it looks like, and it's low, as has been talked about. But with that kind of water coming in, the anticipation is going to be up feet, several feet probably. So it looks like we'll keep our Brantley tournament in place. Talked to the tournament director last night and again this morning, and with the floodwaters coming in, and it'll be there before Saturday. It'll be full, and it was coming in this morning. I mean, we could see the mud from upriver. It was really flowing in there. Went around to the dam to see if they're letting any water out. They're not, so there's no water leaving the lake at this moment. And I talked to somebody else this weekend, and it was somebody that would have had some knowledge. I can't remember who it was, but they told me that there was not any anticipation of any water leaving this month, that they're not going to open the gates. So I don't know if that's right or not, but that's what I've been told. So, we had these team tournaments only at Brantley. We had only 4 of them scheduled, but early in the year we made the decision to go ahead and have 2 one-day team tournaments at Brantley on those 4 weekends. And so with the water coming in like it is, Brantley is still fishing amazing. A lot of people catching a lot of fish. I've talked to some guys that were down there a couple days ago, and they caught nice big fish, and a lot of them. So, and I'm not talking about 7, 8, 9 pounders, but 3, 4, 5 pounders type of deal. And Brantley is probably, I haven't gone back and analyzed it real carefully, but just kind of looking at our schedule and looking at them, I ran through the weigh-in sheets this morning just very quickly, and just to kind of confirm in my own mind, Brantley has probably been our best lake overall in terms of fish caught and quality. Now, we've had bigger fish caught at other lakes, and we've had some good quality tournaments. Hubbard Creek was very good. Lake Fort Phantom Hill was very good in terms of quality. Quantity was not big at those 2 lakes. We weren't catching a lot of fish. It was fishing kind of slow, but very good quality. But the difference is that Brantley is here. It is team tournaments, and if we were to, David and I were talking about it last week. We're thinking, well, we probably need to change the lake unless we get a bunch of water, which we did. Yeah. But changing it would cause us, we'd have to travel that 4 hours or longer, and I probably wouldn't be able to go even for Saturday because of what we have here at the radio and KSVPTV.com, and which doesn't matter to the overall scheme of things. But I couldn't be there to be the tournament director. Anyway, that's where it's looking right now. We're going to keep it here because of the flood and the water that is coming down the river, the fleece, everything ran. Everything ran, and so a lot of water is going to be in Brantley this week, and so I think it'll make it a good tournament. We've had great tournaments already down there. It's local. I think more teams will get in it because of that, and not having to travel. So that's where we're at right now. I did have an opportunity very quickly this morning. I didn't get it done last week, but I updated our standings, and I don't know, I emailed them just a few minutes ago to Jeffrey, but I don't know if his email address here was, I think I had it saved from before, and it may be the same, or maybe he doesn't have it
Is
still.
it a Gmail address?
I think so. I think it was Jeffrey.Curtis at PVB.
No,
whatever. So that's probably not.
That's. I don't think that's been reestablished.
Okay, so it's an old. So he didn't get it. So that's okay.
Okay,
That's all right.
Sorry.
And I was running through myself trying to get here, and so a lot of stuff happening on a Monday. So I've got we won't look at them, but I can read them. So
Okay.
let me pull up the tournament, the leaderboards. Yeah, I got an email back said the address wasn't found.
Yeah.
All right.
I could probably get that reestablished, but we're not going to do that right now.
No. so I also went into my spreadsheets this morning. Another reason I was running a couple minutes late, and I figured out my I think I mentioned this last week. My in my Excel spreadsheets is where we keep our tournament sheets. A couple weeks ago, I tried to update them and get the totals. You have to build specific formulas to get everything to work the way we want them to. And I figured out what I had done wrong a couple weeks ago. So I've got that now fixed on my spreadsheets. And so I was able to get everything tabulated through Hubbard Creek. So we've got 2 tournaments left at Brantley this coming weekend. They're both team tournaments. And then that will be the end of our regular schedule. And so right now, and then we're taking our top 10, each angler, co-angler or angler, their top 10 tournaments, and they didn't fish 10, it'll just be all their tournaments for points totals for the year-end awards of Angler of the Year and co-angler of the year or non-boater of the year. And right now through Hubbard Creek with 2 tournaments left, Jerry Houghtaling, my dad, is leading the boater side with 29.94. That's his points, his top 10 tournaments. Mike Hill is in second with 29.90. That's his top 10. Mark Willover is in third with 29.74. And David Rutherford is in fourth with 29.56. Chris True is in fifth with 26.80. And I think Chris has only fished 9. So 1 through 4 has a minimum of 10 tournaments. So they're those top 4 right there. Of course, Chris, he's 300 points behind. Over 300 points behind, so I don't think he has an opportunity. Really, it's between Jerry and Mike based on looking at everything. If they both fished this weekend and Mike wins them both, regardless of what Jerry does, well, that's not true. So I don't want to forecast it.
Sure.
They're close enough. Those two, 29.94 for Jerry and 29.90 for Mike.
4 points.
It's 4 points, and so one of those two guys. I think if Jerry didn't fish them, let's say, so he got zeros on those, his point won't change because that's the top 10. He's got 29.94. And if Mike fished both the tournaments and won them both, I will forecast this because I know this to be true, he would be tied. They would be tied. If he got 300 points for each of those, that would replace points for him. He would drop a couple others, and that would put him at 29.94. So that's the boater side of things. And I didn't finish reading everybody. I'm actually in 6th. I don't know how many. I think I only have 7 tournaments. So I'm in 6th, and then the rest of and I'll get these out there online. I'll probably put them on Facebook today just for anybody that's interested. But we have 18 boaters this year that have fished a tournament, at least one. And so that's our top 5 boaters is Jerry Houghtaling, Mike Hill, Mark Willover, David Rutherford, and Chris True. And I think Chris has 9, but the top 4 have 10 minimum.
Okay.
And then our non-boater side, right now leading the way, and he's fished a minimum of 10 tournaments, is Kelly Whitehead with 29.86. Catherine Martinez is in second with 29.84. So a very tight race there. And then it drops off a little bit. Lex Klein is in third with 29.78. Lisa Rutherford in fourth with 29.55. And Jeff Heath, again, I think only 9 tournaments. He and Chris True are both in fifth. Jeff is the non-boater, Chris is the boater. And he has 26.89. I think he has fished 9. And then the drop-off is pretty deep from there because they don't have 10 tournaments. But anyway, so Kelly Whitehead leading the way. Catherine Martinez only 2 points behind. Lex Klein only 8 points behind. And Lisa Rutherford down at 29.55 is in fourth. And Jeff Heath in fifth with 26.89. And that's, again, those top 2, Kelly and Catherine, if they both fish this weekend, their points will, one of them is going to be I think Lex, I don't know if he can win it. Like I said, I didn't go back and look at what would be dropped, and if Lex won both tournaments and the other 2 didn't fish at all, I suppose there's a chance. But anyway, that's our...
And the only reason, because not to be confusing, if you're only 4 points down and you win or get more points, you should be able to go in, but then it determines on which 10 tournaments
That's
you
right.
take points from.
They're going to take their top 10, and so yes, I mean if it's very. You think I thought, oh well, if I win, then I'm going to be in. But when I was looking at New Mexico Bass Nation a couple years ago when I made the team, or if I get this points, then I'll be in. But when there's a drop involved, or in this case, there could be theoretically 9 tournaments dropped. It just depends on who fishes and what they're. So if somebody does win and they get 300 points 2 days in a row, but the one that was ahead of them gets 299 2 days in a row,
right?
It depends on what all gets dropped down there. Obviously, the 300 isn't going to be dropped. Probably the 299s won't, so they would still win.
Yeah,
because they'd only gain 2, or they might tie. I mean it. So I won't speculate too much. We'll just have to wait and see what happens at Brantley this coming weekend, and then we'll know at the end of it. The other thing that we're probably going to do is move our championship into October, and that will give us an opportunity to have a 30-day off limits on whatever lake we vote on. We're going to vote on the lake as a club, and David and I are still working on that, as he is the tournament director and me as the president. We're going to try to look together at the top 3 lakes that have fished for us this year. Brantley is one of them, but
Right.
of course, with the floodwaters coming in, and if it raises like it's going to, and if it stays, or we get more rain and it keeps going up, then I think we would want to keep Brantley, because it's just really produced, and it still is. There's a lot of fish being caught, good ones too. But if for some reason it goes down, then it won't be. But we'll just have to kind of play that by ear. Right now, without really doing a deep dive look into it, I think that it'll be Fort Phantom Hill, Hubbard Creek, and Brantley. I think those two for the championship
Okay.
choices. But we'll see.
Yeah.
But that's where
Well,
we're
the
at.
rain is good. Officially in Artesia, we got an inch and a half.
I got 2 inches and 2/10 in my house when I went out Saturday evening to feed.
Yeah.
I dumped. It wasn't raining, and I looked at my rain gauge and I had 2 inches and 2/10.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're up over almost 6.5 inches for the year now. Pretty significant increase, and that was all good. And we'll see if we get a little bit more. That might be kind of nice. As long as it doesn't lightning, so it doesn't mess up with any of the outdoor stuff like soccer and football and stuff.
Right,
We're in good
right.
shape. Well, good deal. Anything else?
Nope, that's it. I'll be getting an email out this morning to all of our. A lot of times I have it already done, but I wanted to go look at the lake. Wanted to talk to David, and so I'll get an email out to all of our anglers and co-anglers, and so anybody that might be listening, watch for that email and text coming soon.
All right. Thanks, Joby. Appreciate
you.
you. And thanks for listening, folks. We'll be back here tomorrow.